Okay, today we're going to look at some problems from section 4.3, dividing polynomials. And we're going to look at both long division and synthetic division when it's allowed. So, first problem, we have this cubic divided by this linear first degree polynomial. We're going to do long division first. So we have x minus 2 as our divisor. And then we have negative x cubed plus 3x squared plus x. And then we need a plus 0 because we do need a placeholder for the constant term. All right, so we do x divides into negative x cubed, negative x squared times. And we're going to line that up over our x squared. And so we're going to multiply. Negative x squared times x is negative x cubed. Negative x squared times negative 2 is positive 2x squared. Okay, so from here we will subtract, and then when we do the subtraction, right, negative x cubed minus the negative x cubed, that's going to be 0, and 3x squared minus 2x squared is going to be a 1x squared. So since we have two terms here, we want to have two terms here, we're going to bring down the next term, which is x. So x divides into x squared x times. So we have the plus x, and we're going to multiply x squared minus 2x, subtracting, and then notice I'm using parentheses each time to help me with my distributing the negative. So x squared minus an x squared is 0. X minus a negative 2x becomes a plus 2x, so we have 3x. Again, we're going to bring down the next term. And finally, x divides into 3x 3 times. And then we end up with 3x minus 6. Subtract, and 0 minus negative 6 is positive 6. And that is our remainder. And what that tells us, since it is not 0, that the x minus 2 is not a factor. If it was, then the remainder would be 0. So this is equal to negative x squared plus x plus 3 plus 6, our remainder over the divisor x minus 2. Okay, so now let's do this using synthetic division, and we can, because our divisor here is a first degree term. Only use synthetic division when that's a first degree term. So, if we take x minus 2 equals 0, we know that root associated with the factor x minus 2 is positive 2. So we put that there in our little half box. And now we use our coefficients. So going across left to right, we have negative 1, then 3, then 1, and again we need 0 as our placeholder. So a little bit different here with synthetic division. So we bring down the negative 1, and now we multiply, so 2 times negative 2, or negative 1 rather, is negative 2, and instead of subtracting, we add. So we end up with 1. Again, multiply, 2 times 1, and we get 2. We add, 2 times 3 is 6, that goes here, and we add. So across the top, our terms, right, was x to the third, x to the second, x to the first. So now when we divide by x to the first power, all of these drop down by 1. So, and then with exactly as we did here, so we have negative x squared, then plus x to the first, plus 3. Our remainder is 6 over x minus 2. So we see we get the same answer either way, which is certainly what we should, because no matter what method we use to divide, right, the answer is always the same. Okay, let's look at one more where we are dividing, but now we're dividing by a nonlinear one. So specifically what we have here is a quadratic. So we can only use long division. So x squared minus 3x minus 2 is our divisor. And then in our dividend rather, we have 4x to the fourth. Now notice there's no x to the third or x to the second term. So we want to have placeholders there. So we have a 0x to the third plus 0x squared. Then we have the 5x and then the minus 4. So everything that we did in our previous problem, we're going to do again here. X squared divides into 4x to the fourth, 4x squared. So we end up with 4x to the fourth. Multiply here, a minus 12x to the third. Here, a minus 8x squared. And we'll subtract. So the first terms equals 0. So now we have 0x cubed minus a negative 12. So minus a minus becomes a plus. And again, 0 minus a negative, that becomes a plus 8x squared. And because we have 3 terms here in our divisor, we need 3 terms here. So we're going to bring down the next term. So again, x squared dividing into 12x cubed is going to be plus 12x squared. And now we're going to multiply across, so we get 12x to the third minus 36x squared minus 24. Oops, I wrote x squared up here. That was supposed to be just x. And that's 24x. So again, subtract. 12x cubed minus 12x cubed is 0. 8 minus a negative, so that becomes plus 44x squared. 5 minus a negative, again, that becomes plus, so plus 29x. So one more time, we're going to bring down the next term. So we have 3 terms here. X squared divides into 44x squared 44 times. So we'll multiply again, 44x squared. 44 times negative 3 is negative 132. 44 times negative 2 is negative 84. Again, subtracting. So 29 minus a negative becomes a plus. So we have 161x. And then negative 4 minus, that becomes plus. So we have, oh, that should have been an 88. My mistake, right? 4 times 2 is 8. So that becomes a plus 84. So now this is equal to 4x squared plus 12x plus 44 plus, now we have our remainder, 161x plus 84 over our dividend, or divisor rather, x squared minus 3x minus 2. So again, because our remainder is not 0, we know that this denominator is not a factor of the numerator. Hope that helps, and we'll see you soon.